Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pillar to Post. It is April 19th, 2017. I am your host, Pete Wall, and tonight was NXT. Pretty good show. We're going to get into it. And before then, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Hit the like button. And let's move on with the intro, and we will continue with my NXT results, review, and reaction for tonight. See you in a couple of minutes.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
This is Pillar to Post. And we are back. Now, before we get on with the show, I want to let you all know that anywhere you want to find me on social media, it will be in the description box below. If you want to become a Patreon, that info is down below in the description box. You want to follow everything that's going on with this channel, subscribe, because every Sunday from now on, 8 p.m., we are doing a live broadcast. And it will be with my partner, Heavyweight Mark, also known as Red. And like I said, Sundays at 8, and it will be called Shooting from the Hip. You're going to get both our views on the weekly info and the goings-on in the WWE. Now, we did a short podcast the other day. It was about 44 minutes long. He had some technical difficulties, but as promised, no fucking dead air. And as soon as I seen that happen, I wanted to make sure that we weren't going to disappoint, so I ended it early. But the dry run seemed to go well, so I'm happy with what we did. But we're going to do 2 hours every Sunday night at 8 p.m. So 8 to 10. If we go into overtime, who gives a shit, really, you know? You can find me on Twitter at Mordecai Fallon. You can also find me on vidme.com. And I'm all over the damn place these days. So all that information will be below, as well as if you are interested in Circle of Steel merchandise, as well as Pillar to Post merchandise. You can find that in Teespring in my storefront, and that info will be down in the description as well. I'm also going to throw Heavyweight Mark's info down there because he is, like I am, a newcomer to podcasting. So I want to give the guy a handout. And, you know, the way I look at it, if it wasn't for all the advice I'd gotten from certain podcasters, I wouldn't be doing this at all. So, before we move into NXT, I'm going to let you know I missed about a good 20 minutes of the show, so I had to go back and watch it again because today was my son's 16th birthday, and so I made him his own very own special meal, and then family stopped over to wish him happy birthday, so I couldn't really just ignore the family and watch wrestling because that's just fucking rude. And two, it's my boy's birthday, so I had to make sure he had some time, and it wasn't one of his best birthdays. He was hoping other people would show up, and friends let him down, so it was kind of discouraging to see that. But you know, it's all in the process of growing, right? And you know, just I took my time getting here today because I needed to build up, you know, just kind of warm up to get to sitting in front of the webcam today. Just bad days, bad nights. It's a hell of a thing to suffer from insomnia, and you get a couple hours of sleep and you're back awake and you can't focus. So struggling, you know, it's a struggle, but I'm always pushing through. I'm always trying to better myself and trying to push through every day. So what are my thoughts on the show? It wasn't a bad show. I love the opening. Bobby Roode coming out, doing his thing. Always a good thing. You've got, Hideo Itami coming out, you know, confronting him, getting in his face. Was good. It was all good. It's all building up to a good storyline. The women's match, I wasn't too into. You know, just, it's my thing. These women need more work. I hope none of them are pushed up yet into the main roster because they do need a lot of work. My father-in-law, he was catching a little bit. I had it muted in the background, and he was just, even him, he was going, these women really don't know how to sell a damn thing. And it's true. They don't know how to sell very well, or they overcompensate and overact, and it just looks terrible. I do want to say one thing. The main event, you had the Perfect 10, Tye Dillenger, going up against, Jesus Christ, EY, Eric Young. And you've seen something we haven't seen in a very long time in a cage match. Blood, as well as using that cage as a weapon. You don't see that very often anymore. And especially the blood part, you know, it was good to see a wrestler bleed again because they were in a match that called for a little bit of blood. No one was afraid to bleed. We all know EY, he's a crazy motherfucker, so he's going to be willing to bleed to begin with. Now, I don't know if it was intentional or if it was an accident that it happened, but they didn't try to hide it from the camera, so that was good. It wasn't a serious amount of blood, but it looked good. You know, he had the partial crimson mask going, but it wasn't a gusher, so it was all good. What else did we have? We had a backstage, or I shouldn't say backstage, it was a gym room confrontation between returning Drew Galloway, or McIntyre as they would call him now, with Cian Almas. So that was pretty good. All in all, it wasn't a bad show. I just wish that these women were a little bit more on their game. But all in all, like I said, good show. It wasn't the best show that I've seen from them. It wasn't a show that really grabbed my attention. The main event did. It was a lot of high spots in the match. The crowd was behind them. But it was like up and down. I don't know if it was the production truck doing that with the cheers and everything, but it was just up and down. For a bit they were silent. It seemed like they were getting bored, and then they'd pipe back up. It was an up and down roller coaster with the fans at NXT. But the match in itself was a very well done match. So, how about we get on with the show? And we'll go by bit what went on, and let's see what you guys thought of the match. If you have any questions, any anything you want to talk about, you want this show to cover something in the wrestling world, leave it in the comments below. If it is a request to cover a different organization, please let me know. I will gladly check them out, as long as it's not Impact. I cannot seem to get into an episode of Impact. I can last maybe 10 minutes and then I'm bored, I fall asleep, or I just turn it away. What they're doing in Impact these days is not going to take them to the glory days of, not NXT, of TNA. Is not going to take them into the glory days that was Impact Wrestling. And that's the problem. That's what they're shooting for. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Watching Impact Wrestling is like pulling fucking teeth. It is hard to do, hard to sit through, and it is very painful to endure. So, if you want me to cover any other organization, I'm happy to, just not Impact Wrestling. So, tonight, April 19th, the birth date of my boy, Austin Cole. We were introduced to Bobby Roode, and he was the man that opened up the show. Come out in a nice suit, dressed to the nines. You know the way he is. He's got to look glorious. So Roode says for the second year in a row, he made WrestleMania week simply glorious. He single-handedly sold out the Amway Center. 15,000 people were there because of him. He gave those 15,000 people a treat. They got to witness him snuff out the last little flickering star that it was in NXT. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink before I continue. Now, Roode proved once again that the future and fate of this brand is totally in his control. Last week, he had to watch Shinsuke Nakamura walk it down to Roode's ring and bid farewell to the NXT universe. Everyone in the locker room flooded out the stage, or to the stage, and paid homage to Nakamura. The fans started chanting his name and singing his theme. It was pathetic. The one person you didn't see standing out on that stage was Bobby Roode. Roode wasn't going to stand there and listen to the lies Nakamura told in the ring last week. He goes on to say Nakamura didn't leave NXT because he wanted to. Nakamura left because Roode beat him twice and chased him out of NXT. Roode tells the crowd that they don't deserve to be in his NXT. The people in the locker room don't belong in Roode's NXT. As of right now, you have the choice to either get with the program or hit the bricks just like Nakamura. Hideo Itami comes out to the ring and stares daggers into Roode. Roode looks at Itami up and down. Itami gets in Roode's face and slaps the taste from Bobby Roode's mouth. Roode shakes his head and says, "You want to slap the champ? You want to mess with me?" Roode backs up and takes off his coat. And he's livid. Roode walks up to Itami, but Itami immediately scoops him up and obliterates him with the go to sleep. Itami fixes the collar and picks up the NXT title. And we go to commercial break. Not commercial break. We go to backstage. And backstage, Tyler Bate is with Jack Gallagher. It is announced that Gallagher will challenge Bate for the United States, or United Kingdom, I should say, championship next week on NXT. Gallagher and Bate have a gentleman's debate about who will be the champion after next week. And we go back to ringside, and referees and officials are helping Bobby Roode up. Roode stumbles around the ring as the crowd chants, "Bobby, are you okay?" Like I said, the opening of this show, fantabulous. I'll use that. I'll run with it. It was a fuck up, but I'll run with it. Fan-fucking-tabulous. You can't get any better than Roode when it comes to mic skills. There's very few that can outdo him on the mic these days. Now, if we were talking about back a few decades ago, I would say the guy needs some more work. But Bobby Roode does have what it takes to be on the main roster. I don't understand why he's in NXT, but he is making NXT his home, and he's showing everyone he belongs as the main event player. I love Itami. I love the way he came out. Love the way he smacked the taste out of Bobby Roode's mouth. Excuse me. And the go to sleep. Seeing that again on WWE television. That is good to see. I look forward to the feud. I think Bobby Roode's got a ways to go with his reign yet. And it'll be interesting to see who he's all going to face. Itami looks like the next in line, and it looks like it's going to be a heated rivalry. Moving on. So, earlier today while in the gym, Andrade Cien Almas talked some trash to Drew McIntyre while at the gym. And then following that, we get Andrade Cien Almas versus Danny Burch. Now, I don't know Danny Burch. I believe he was in the United Kingdom tournament, I believe. I'm not sure, but he just looked like he came. I know he was from the United Kingdom, but I'm unsure if he was in the tournament. I did not watch it all. So Burch goes behind Almas. Burch pushes Almas into the ropes, but Almas catches himself in the ropes and poses. Burch takes Almas over with a modified Northern Lights suplex. Almas attempts a leapfrog, but Burch whips Almas down by his ankle. Almas catches Burch with a chop. Almas forces Burch into the ropes. Almas stomps Burch. Burch surprises Almas with a European uppercut. Almas floors Burch with an elbow to the back of the head because the dumbass started fucking taunting and showing off to the fans. We get some corner double knees by Almas. Almas drags Burch out of the corner and hits the hammerlock DDT for the win. Your winner, Andrade Cien Almas. It was a short match. It wasn't a bad match. I wish it would have been longer, but we're working with an hour of time for NXT. And they give you as much wrestling as they possibly can in that 1 hour, and they do a damn good job of it. There are high spots in these matches, even though they're short. There's some high spots for the fans to react to. There's some good storytelling most of the time. This wasn't a bad match. It was just too short for my liking. I'm not a big Cien Almas fan, but he's starting to kind of warm to me. You know, I'm starting to warm up to him, and it's starting to, be one of those guys I like seeing in the ring. So, moving on, we've got Liv Morgan and Aaliyah versus Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Like I said, even my father-in-law, what he's seen of this match, was not happy with it. And I don't blame the man. These women, like I said, they don't know how to sell. And when they do sell, it is exaggerated to the point of just fuck off and quit doing that shit. It's their moves are off. When they're attempting to move, they're off. It's just, they need a lot of work. And I'm hoping that none of these women are pushed to the main roster yet, because all of them need some work. Now, Morgan and Kay start the match off. A collar and elbow tie-up leads to Kay slamming Morgan down to the mat. After a shoulder block drop, down spot, Morgan matrixes out of the clothesline, which looked good. She did that very well. I liked it. Morgan takes Kay down with a sunset flip. Kay kicks out, but Morgan rolls Kay around the ring. Aaliyah tags in and leg drops Kay off the top rope. Kay catches Aaliyah with an elbow to the face, and it looked like it connected good. I wasn't sure if it was purposely or not, but it looked like there was a little bit more force behind that elbow than there should have been. Kay and Royce takes turns beating down Aaliyah, and Aaliyah manages to take Royce over with a head scissors into a schoolboy for a near fall. Royce picks up Aaliyah, but Aaliyah surprises her with a sunset flip. Kay reaches out from the apron and grabs Royce's hands so Aaliyah can't roll Royce over. Morgan hits the ring and drop kicks Kay off the apron. Aaliyah rolls up Royce for the win. Your winners, Liv Morgan and Aaliyah. All in all, it was a fair match. I will say it was a fair match. These women tried. They didn't do the best, but it was pretty okay. They all have great figures. They all show a lot of athleticism. It's just their timing is a little bit off. They need to learn how to sell moves properly, and they need a little bit more training. They need more time in NXT, and I'm happy that's where they are right now. I wouldn't want to see them on the main roster yet because they'd get annihilated and they'd be made to look like fools, basically. I don't want to see that happen with any of the NXT wrestlers, because it should be a reward going up to the main roster, not feel like you've been demoted. And sometimes that's what it seems like when there is a promotion to the main roster. It seems like those wrestlers have kind of gotten a demotion instead of a promotion. After the match, Kay and Royce throw a bloody hell of a tantrum in the ring, and thankfully we didn't have to watch that for long. Up next, the main event of the night. And like I said, NXT is only an hour long. You don't get that many matches, but for 1 hour you get quite a bit. So I'm happy about that. NXT does things the right way. So it is a steel cage match. For one night only, Tye Dillenger returns to NXT to finally get some retribution and revenge on Eric Young. Like I said at the top of the show, this gave us a lot of things. We had some high spots. We had blood. We had the cage being used for what it is supposed to be used. It isn't like watching it on a pay-per-view and you're wondering, why are they in a Hell in a Cell? Or why are they in a cage match? It doesn't make sense if they're not going to use the cage as a weapon. It is there for that offensive opportunity to make the match more than what it is supposed to be. And if you're not going to use it, you might as well have a regular match. And these guys used the cage the way it was meant to be. Now, as soon as Young gets in the ring with Dillinger, as soon as Young gets in the ring, Dillinger quickly decks him. Dillinger closes the cage door behind Young. Young and Dillinger trade punches in the middle of the ring. Back body drop by Dillinger, and Dillinger pulls down his knee pad to call for the tiebreaker. Very early in the match to go for it, I thought. And as Dillinger has Young on his shoulders, Young rakes Dillinger's eyes. Very good. Nice way to escape, because it was way too soon for a tiebreaker. It would have just killed the mood of the match. Now, after a short break, Young is tossing Dillinger into the cage. Young grabs Dillinger's face and rubs it up and down against the cage. Young sits on the top of the rope and locks in an elevated dragon sleeper on Dillinger. Dillinger tries to fire up. He goes for a super kick, but Young catches Dillinger's foot. Young slingshots Dillinger into the cage, but Dillinger lands on the top turnbuckle. He then tries to climb out, but Young cuts him off. Dillinger knocks Young off the top rope. Young tries to powerbomb Dillinger, but Dillinger turns it into the corner 10 punch. Young yanks Dillinger off the top rope and destroys him with a sit-out powerbomb for a near fall. Very near fall, 2.5 for a matter of fact. Young tries to go out of the cage door, but Dillinger stops him by grabbing an ankle. Young tries to climb up the cage, but Dillinger grabs Young by the throat and choke throws him off the top rope. Like I said, high spots. We had blood. We had the cage being used. All in all, this match was what it was supposed to be for. A retribution match, and it worked. After another break, Dillinger is tossing Young into the cage over and over again. Young stands up on the apron. Dillinger super kicks Young into the cage, and Young is busted open. Dillinger tries to climb out of the cage, but Young cuts him off once again. Young punches Dillinger off the top of the cage. and Young delivers an elbow drop off the top of the cage. It was beautiful. He hurt himself, but it looked beautiful. Dillinger somehow manages to kick out of the pin. Young yells at Dillinger. Dillinger picks up Young and hits the tiebreaker. Excuse me. Dillinger starts to crawl to the door. Sanity runs down a ringside, preventing Tye Dillenger from escaping the cage. Nikki Cross attacks the referee as Dane and Wolf close the door on Dillinger. Cassius Ono and Ruby Riott and Roderick Strong come out and attack Sanity. As Ono is beating down Wolf, Dane runs over both of them and the referee, just obliterated them. Fucking guy's a goddamn freight train, for fuck's sakes. Young and Dillinger continue to fight in the cage. Wolf tries to climb the cage, but Dillinger throws Young into the cage and knocks Wolf off. Dillinger climbs the cage, but Wolf is there waiting for him. Dane gets into the cage and helps Young to his feet. Dillinger leaps off the top of the cage, Jesus Christ, and crossbody blocks Young and Dane. As Wolf climbs into the cage, Dillinger crawls out of the door and is your winner. Tye Dillenger defeats Eric Young in a cage match and finally gets the redemption and the retribution and revenge he's been seeking. So after the match, Ono and Strong put Dillinger on their shoulders and celebrate the end of the match. It was a good victory for Tye Dillenger. If he would have lost, his promotion to the main roster would have looked terrible. All in all, great main event. It was what it was supposed to be. I like that. And I want to see Tye Dillenger on the main roster now, climb that ladder. I see him right now in the mid-card, and he needs to become champion of the mid-card division before moving on any higher. He needs to earn his way. Not like we've seen with Charlotte Flair. She comes into SmackDown and says, I want a title shot, and bang, you're giving it. She didn't earn it on SmackDown. And I want to start seeing that. Wrestlers actually earning their way and not just being given it to them just because of a name they carry. But that was your NXT review. Thank you for watching. And like I said, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, hit that like button, share the video and my channel, and help Pillar to Post grow. Like I said, there is a lot of content coming your way. You've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for your Raw, SmackDown, and NXT results review and reaction shows. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you have your Pillar to Post episode 2 and part 1, 2, and 3. So there's that, and then there's the new show, Jesus Christ, Shooting from the Hip, 8 p.m. Sunday nights. And there will be another show coming up, and it will be Tough Talk. And I will have a guest on there as well. So, like I said, there is a lot of content coming to my channel. Right now, the channel is called Mordecai, but it will be changed when I have the chance, and it will be changed to Pillar to Post. So I thank you again for joining me. Have a good night. I have to get to recording my first episode for tomorrow, Pillar to Post Part 1. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night, and don't forget, check out the description box for all the ways you can find my stuff, as well as contact me. Have a good one, and I will see you soon.